today's video we're going to be talking a little bit about arriving and departing from a pontoon. So there's quite a bit of difference in terms of what we call a blow-on berth. So in other words, a pontoon or a dock that is being affected by the wind, so where the wind is blowing onto the dock, and a mooring, a pontoon or a jetty or something like that where the wind is blowing off the dock. The type of lines that we use, the type of springs that we use, all have to be thought out quite carefully and a little bit of time spent before we actually arrive and before we leave as well. So this video is going to be a little bit technical. We're mostly going to be out on deck and it's all going to be about arriving safely and leaving safely.
In this diagram we can clearly see the angles of approach towards the dock. By carefully identifying 2 or 3 bearings to fixed objects such as cleats or pillars, helps to monitor the momentum and angles needed as we approach. Now let's put this into practice. Bearing in mind that yachts will maneuver from their pivot point, which is usually located between the companionway hatch and the main mast. The speed and angle should consider any significant wind or tide, to make sure that our angle is smooth and steady. Slow is pro, as we say in yachting. Preparing the yacht beforehand by setting fenders and warps, or mooring lines, as well as briefing the crew, is crucial to ensure that everything goes well at the critical moment of approach. Make sure that fenders are set at the right height for the dock, protecting the parts of the vessel which are likely to make contact. Ask your crew to keep a good lookout from their assigned positions. They may often have better visibility of the topsides and the dock than the helmsperson. In the following drawing we start looking at one of the ways of leaving a blow-on berth, meaning that the yacht is being held onto the dock by the wind. For this situation, we will need to employ the use of a spring line. This will allow us to rotate either the bow or the stern away from the dock in order for us to create a large enough angle to motor away without being blown back onto the dock. Depending on the direction of the wind and or tide, we can choose whether it might be more appropriate to spring from the bow or the stern cleat. Typically, it is easier to motor into the prevailing conditions when leaving. As the wind is coming from forward, we have chosen to spring out the bow. Firstly, setting all the lines to slip, meaning that their release can be managed from the deck of the yacht without the need for a crew to stay on the dock while we leave. Secondly, by placing the stern line slightly forward of the aft cleat, this will allow us to create a fulcrum once pressure from the engine is applied. It is important that both stern and bow lines are set to slip, using the traditional OXO cleat knot as demonstrated here, always making sure to put the short end of the line on the top.
I'm ready.
Once the bow is slipped, we can then apply a little pressure to the spring line by putting the engine into reverse. This will begin the process of creating the correct angle. As we anticipate the starboard aft quarter to touch the dock as we leave, we must remember to protect this area of the yacht by placing a fender right on the corner. In conclusion, remember to take time to set lines and fenders and communicate the plan with all the crew. Move away from the dock slowly, giving time for lines to be slipped safely. This will truly take the stress out of departing. Happy sailing!